We're talking to Pastor Ronnie T. Mitchell, who is the pastor of New Livingstone Church in East Nashville. And of course, Pastor, before we had our first commercial break, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to talk about the stimulus plan. And
yes, sir.
Of course, from what I know, the money has already been awarded to the state of Tennessee. And
That's
so
right.
what you're about to tell us is that you've got a plan
Right.
that will allow you and others to have access to some of this money. Let's talk about it.
Exactly. And thank you, Doc, and I appreciate your emphasis on others, because the last thing we want to do is make it appear that this is a me, myself, and our program. The benefits for our community are so far-reaching that, again, once anyone looks and sees what it is that we want to do, I'm sure that they'll be willing to sign on to provide us with help and to help us get help.
Good.
Again, the Poverty Symposium, innovation, and we've come up with an innovative program. It is the Reschool, Retool Economic Stimulus Program. It is directly attached to and associated with and needs to be the recipient of funds from the Economic Recovery Act passed by new-elect President Obama. And we are proud of his election, and we are proud of this country for being able to move from the doldrums of the past and to be able to look and reach and grab a bright future. We believe that we have an obligation personally to help him and to help this country to right the ship and to bring us back to the America, Dr. Haney, that I know you and I have lived in before. Again, it's the Reschool, Retool Economic Stimulus Program, and we will do that by engaging in economic and environmental stabilization through community restoration. And if you'll notice, I made it horizontal, economic and an environmental stabilization and community restoration. I make the sign of the cross because the cross is indicative of forgiveness. Not just forgiveness asked for, but forgiveness having received. And so we are saying to those out there that no matter what you've done, many of us now, because of this economic downturn, realize that there are a lot of games that we played, a lot of choices that we made, a lot of mistakes that we've engaged in. What it's going to take now is for each of us to look past our differences, to work in common harmony on a common problem. And we believe that this Reschool, Retool Economic Stimulus Program, whereby we engage in economic and environmental stabilization through community restoration, can improve living conditions and living standards for so many members of our community who, because of budget priority and public policy of the past, continue to face devastating challenges on a daily basis and are confronted with debilitating issues that just ruin their lives. And so through this program, we intend to participate in the stimulus money that the federal government has sent to the state of Tennessee. Tennessee received $4.5 billion to be spread out across the state, going to different municipalities. And it goes down to the local municipalities and eventually to the people and to do good in the community. What we're saying is this: the short range, the mid-range, and the long-range benefits of our program are such that everyone will be able to measure it over a 3-year, 36-month period to see that it can be measured and that it can be managed and that the benefit far outweigh the cost and the risk. The short-range benefit is that the children are getting ready to get out of school. We've got to move now.
That's right.
And a lot of programs that they normally in the past could go into are not going to be there. A lot of the jobs that they normally could access are not going to be there because adults whose jobs have been downsized and outsourced have those jobs. We must move now to engage in training our men and women, our boys and girls, to retrofit buildings with energy-efficient roofs, lights, and windows. We can expand that to include traffic lights, stop signs, stop lights, billboards. The amount of work is endless, and that's the reason, Dr. Haney, that we're with you here today to say to any that will hear us to not take advantage of this opportunity at this time. with so much money being available to where you don't have to worry about a budget, and with the volume of work
that
being
needs to
so
be done.
plentiful
That's good.
that can be sustained over a period of time, it would be a grave error for us to not take advantage of an opportunity to make sure that job training and workforce development is weaved and woven into all of the work that will be done.
Okay.
Our program, economic and environmental stabilization through community restoration, involves us being able to train not just young people, but our veterans returning home from war,
everybody who
members of the homeless community, folk that have just fallen on bad times. We can train them, and again, the short range benefit is that we can put the kids to school that are getting out of school, we can put them to work immediately. Whatever labor laws that we can comply with, meaning what age they would start. We'd like to start them at 16, but that may be too young. But surely the 18-year-old that have graduated from high school and is not going to college, all that idle time, we're saying we believe that we can attract them to this program to where we will put skills in their possessions that mimic our brothers and sisters of the Jewish community. They believe, their philosophy is that if they will expose their young people at an early age to some kind of craft, trade, or skill, that it will in turn increase their chance of success and advancement in life. We want to mimic that because it's a success that works for a people, not just for an individual. So the short-term effect is we can put the kids getting out of school to work now. The mid-range benefit is that the convention center that we're getting ready to build downtown and the accompanying hotel is going to amount to $1 billion in jobs. $1 billion. We can train through this reschool, retool, retrofit program. We can begin to recruit and reintroduce members of the minority community to the construction industry, to where they can go on and learn how to do this work that's going to be at the convention center. There are a lot of minorities that do construction work, but they don't do the type of work that's going to be going on at the convention center.
And so they have to be retrained and retooled. And that's what you're planning on doing with this. And of course, we're getting ready for our second commercial break.
And the long-range benefit is that we're talking about jobs that are going to be around for the next 50 years.
Okay, and so we're going to talk about that when we come back after this. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.
You like to be...
We're talking about President